nowadays, and so I am all Chuck to know.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. We continue our conversation this morning. I guess we kind of celebrated International Women's Day still because we have Inspector Michelle Lewis, who is a working woman in the TTPS and here to share some information with us. Good morning to you, Inspector.
Good morning to you and to all your audience.
How are you doing this morning?
I am all right. A bit of sadness. Yes, because we had a lot of murders over the weekend. We had about 12 murders over the weekend, one of which was a police officer.
I heard about that.
And so we send condolences to all the families that are experiencing grief at this time. On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, I extend condolences to all the families and especially to the family of Larry Phillips, Sergeant of Police, who also was a victim of that gruesome killing at her place in Portersville.
Larry was a member of the police band as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember encountering him quite a few times coming to do shows and stuff like that. May he rest in peace
Very
and, of course, and his family
talented
be consoled at this time.
Yes,
I know that the Prime Minister would have mentioned things like getting guns off the streets and doing some more active work. So I know that you guys have a lot in store.
Yes.
But of course, we have to do our part as well as citizens.
Correct.
So this morning, what are we chatting about when it comes to doing our part as citizens?
And even as you mentioned that, right, part of all the activities, all the illegal activities that are taking place, or a lot of it, relates to gang activities and gang violence. And even when we look at extortion and demanding money by menace, which is illegal term, but as we know it is extortion, it has elements of gang activities, gang leaders, gang members who are approaching businessmen, owners, operators of businesses in a menacing way or threatening way, indicating to them that if you give us 30,000 or 50,000 or 5,000, we can protect you. And if you don't, then you can become a victim or a statistic of some kind of serious or fatal offense. Right? So that businesses, it's a real fear that people are experiencing based on the crime in the country. And so persons really don't know what to do. Because if you give in to it, it means that it is expected after a while. You may not see it at the point in time, but it's expected after a while that you maintain that type of
course,
quote-unquote security. But you're really giving in to illegal activities and criminal activities because you're also part of it as well. The mere fact that you are depositing money into an account of a criminal, whether quote-unquote legal or not, right? Because the person is committing criminal offenses, right? And so the law caters that persons who commit the offense of extortion, as we know it, which is demanding money by menace, is liable to 15 years imprisonment. So it is not a simple offense, it is a very serious offense to be tried in the High Court in Trinidad and Tobago. And so we really want to plea with businessmen and operators not to give in to the threats or the swayances of persons of such like who come to you with these type of requests.
Yeah.
Right?
Like demands more than requests.
Well, it comes as a request first, and then if you don't give in, then it becomes aggressive.
So then you tell me, Inspector, if somebody comes to my business and says to me, hey, we can offer you security for this business at a cost of whatever the case may be, and you're depositing it to my security firm's bank account. But when the officers show up, they're not security officers, they're just regular people, dressed as regular people as the case may be, and you realize after a while, wait, no, this is not legit, this is not legal.
Right.
How do I, as a business owner, stand up to that? What do I do to literally stand up to it without being further threatened or being violated?
As a business owner, let us say you do not have a property of your own and you're going to rent a space. You will check to see if this owner who is renting this premises has right to be able to rent you this premises. You will do your due diligence to ensure that where you're setting up your company is legitimate. In like manner, or even if you're going into another business arrangement or a deal or a contract or anything, you would make sure and check to ensure that what you're doing is what you want to do. And so even in looking for a security company, do your checks as well. Ensure that this company is legitimate and communicate with the officers in your district. One of the things I've recognized as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, not from the police perspective, right? Because I've been victim to criminal offenses before, where someone entered my yard, stole my son's bicycle, and the officers from the area, from the station district, were able, from the outlaying of the person, the silhouette of the man, and the walk of the young fellow, was able to say, this is so and so and so. So that the officers in the community should be able to assist you to say, well, this company really does exist or it does not exist. And so these are the people in your community that you really need to connect with. In every station district, there's what we call a station council. And so the station council has business owners from the community. It has the station inspector, the sergeant in charge, and other officers and community members who are legitimate, the counselor and other persons of, of such. And so it is good to get and be a part of the station council. That will help you in relation to any assistance that you want, and stay connected. Have the contact number for the sergeant in charge of CID in the reception area, and that kind of thing, that you can have that one-on-one relationship and rapport, because it is important. I mean, we will give you the information, share the information with you, because it is proactive against crime. We wouldn't want you to be a victim.
Now, people who are already being extorted, or people who are already giving their money to the criminal elements, as the case may be, in exchange for protection, right? If they had to gather evidence or gather information to say they want to get out from under this, what steps should they take?
So a lot of companies have their CCTV cameras that have been established. We know that persons also record telephone conversations. They can make the report to the police, the different sections. Sting operations can be, sting operations can take place when we would have gathered certain information and that kind of thing. So as well as if it is that the person, life is at risk, the police know how to put that person in a safe place and to ensure that they stay there. It's voluntary, of course, but it is for your safety and the safety of your family.
But then your business not running while you're doing that?
Well, it depends. It really depends, because there are different types of businesses, right? And if you are the target, then, But of course, at the end of the day, the perpetrators also do not want to be caught. And they have probably other persons, so they may move from you, because they may find that you are not, the situation is becoming risky for them, meaning that they can be arrested and charged. And, and of course, for any person in that kind of business, it is not that they want to get charged, really. Right? So as a business owner, as an operator, we want to really admonish you to come and make a report to us. Gather your information, be very discreet about it, do not put yourself at risk. Look at the banking options that you utilize when making business arrangements or business transactions. So make it legitimate, so you can do transfer to legitimate banking institutions, or even if it is a company that you're doing the transfer to, ensure that it is legitimate. If it is that they're giving you a name of someone to send the money to, is that the name of the person who is offering you the service, or is that somebody else that they're using as a third party, so that in the event of anything, because, well, you didn't deposit anything to me. So, you have to think it through.
But question, in that case, can the person who received the funds be charged?
Well, the person who received the funds can also say, well, I thought it was for this or that. And so in the investigation, it must come out that the person was also aiding and abetting in relation to the offense of extortion.
So the idea is to gather as much of the information as you can. To have a fantastic rapport with the police, so that they can also be involved in the gathering of information process.
Yes, but we don't want you to put yourself at risk.
Of course.
Right? So if it is that you're already in it, it means that you would have had some type of receipts already where you would have paid, or we would hope that you would have some form of tracing of that person. If it is that someone is asking for cash, then that should raise a red flag, and because there's no trace with cash, right? I give you, you come in, you give me a bag of money, I exit. That's like human trafficking, that's like illegal drugs, narcotics, everything that goes with it. Correct. And so once you see that kind of request being made of you, you should be very alert, be very wary, and not engage in that kind of activity.
Now, Inspector, I'm going to cause some trouble here this morning, right? Because I've heard of instances where people claim that there are even members of the TTPS who come and they demand money by Menace as well. How do you deal with that, or how do you address that if it is that the same people you're telling me to go to are the ones coming to demand the money?
And so I will give the same advice. The same evidence that you're bringing, bring it also to the TTPS. And you know that we would arrest officers who are found guilty or we have reasonable cause to suspect.
But how do I know who's a part of the operation in my district office, my district police station? If I go to my district police station, like you mentioned, and I reach out for the council, how do I know who's a part of this operation and who's not?
Okay, so therefore, what you are saying is that the officer, the business owner, operator, becomes part of the station council, which is a team of officers, civilian and police.
Right.
And is it that you're saying that one of the officers at that station district engage in some type of...
In theory, this is in theory, right? Let's just say that, let's just say that that is happening. And that's one of the people, you come on the council and you're looking for assistance and you realize, but it's the same man that extorted me.
Well, if it is the same man that is extorting you, it's good for you to identify because you have now seen the person. But it would also mean that you have you have some evidence to bring to the police.
But
we have had persons who we have to. So if it is at the station council, so of course, we have the Professional Standards Bureau, and that is run by woman senior superintendent Suzette Martin, right? That you can make a report to, right? Because it's criminal. This is not even departmental as complaints. Well, this is really criminal. And so you take your evidence, you go to PSB, which is located at NATCO building on Henry Street, and you make a report there.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
And sure as they meet night, the matter will be investigated.
Nice.
And you will be updated accordingly.
Nice. I just want to make sure that we have different options so that people are very clear on the options that they have. So you can go to your police station in your neighborhood or in your district. You can also go to the Professional Standards Bureau as well.
Correct. And if Professional Standards Bureau to make a report against any police officer who you suspect has committed any type of criminal offense, right?
Any type of criminal
Any type of criminal offense. And then, of course, in every station division, there's a senior super and a first division officer.
Nice.
Right? Of course, through the TTPS, we also have 736 TTPS, which is a number that links you directly to the Commission and the DCPs so that you can give it at that level as well.
Okay.
So the organization has several ways in which you can give that and the information would be investigated.
Well, Inspector, thank you so much for joining us yet again. We look forward to continuing these conversations every Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, Inspector Michelle Lewis, just sharing with us what we can do in case you're being demanding money by Menace. If you're being extorted, you have options as to how you can deal with it as best as possible. Thank you so much, Inspector.
Most welcome.
Do enjoy the rest of your week. We take a quick break and we come back with more on the Now Morning Show. Stick around.
I won't say a word, but I hugging up my police going down the road and only a woman police in Trinidad. Bet your life, spoiler would be more than glad. Should I have woman police in